Hey, everybody, it's time for another edition of Inside Lion Athletics. We get to visit with all the coaches and Jim and anybody else that we decide to drag in off the campus. We can't get Dr. Rudin here with us. Why not?
You know, we've talked about it, and it's not that he's not amenable to it. It's just scheduling and stuff like that. So
right.
I think we'll get him on at some point.
We will.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Inside Lion Athletics, man. We got a lot to talk about. It's crossover season, folks. What that means, it's time for basketball to come up and join us. And
it'll be crossover season on Inside Lion Athletics today. That's for sure.
Oh, we got 6 coaches coming in here.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
It's just that time of year. And, we were in staff meeting yesterday just talking about everything coming up. Next week's homecoming week as well. So that is just that's obviously got its own pace and intensity to it, just with everything going on campus. A ton of home events next week as well. Just came off a busy weekend. Everything going on there. I think we talked a little bit about it last week with just all the home contests and then we had alumni. We had a number of reunion groups back last week. We had Hall of Fame. And so we had a big admissions event that went really well on campus. So it was a busy weekend last week. I would say we're giving us a little bit of maybe that last week to get everything ready to go before overlap season starts, because we had a women's basketball scrimmage on Saturday. It went pretty well. I'll let Val, you talk about that with Val later. But then we've got another scrimmage next Friday. The men will scrimmage as well. And then it's basketball season, and we still got a month of football and a month of soccer and volleyball left as well.
I know there's like 2 weeks. The state fair ends, basketball starts, and away we go.
And then it's go time.
See you in April.
That's exactly right.
It lands real fast. Well, talk a little bit about that Hall of Fame banquet. That's the first one that I've been able to attend. It was the first one I've been involved in. I had an absolute gas up there. Thanks for the trap door on the edge of the stage.
No problem. Hey, he's more athletic than you realize, folks. We got to see his athleticism on full display for the whole group.
I stuck the landing, I think is how they say that.
Hey, you were like a cat, man. You were on your feet. You didn't fall.
I didn't fall.
But for those listening at home that weren't there, it was a
disappearing act for.
there was a little bit of
like
a
2 feet
fall
almost
from the stage to the floor, but you did it gracefully.
I was there. I didn't even drop the mic.
You didn't. It was actually pretty athletic in all reality.
How much fun was that? I mean, you not being a long-time Lion.
Yeah.
I mean, you're as in as anybody. But to see some of these old student athletes coming back, and when I say old, I don't mean the recent graduates. I mean some that got white hair like I do.
Yeah, I'll say this, and I kind of mentioned it there at the event. I guess when you go to that event and you spend time with the inductees and you get to learn more about them, you really have a great appreciation for what has occurred here and what the foundation that's been laid by that group and others, and then what's happening now. And, we know, because we see it and we can, point to it, that we are developing world-class athletes here at East Texas as we speak. We just had someone competing in the World Championships a few weeks ago, winning a 4th place. We have obviously the number of Olympians we had last year, NFL draft picks, people in the NFL. I mean, you name it, like we're doing it, right? But that's not a new phenomenon here.
No.
So we're doing it now. We celebrated a group that included literally world-class athletes in it who have competed at the highest levels in their respective sports. And then when you look back and you look at the classes that have been inducted before, we've been doing this for a long time here. So again, it's a testament just to the overall just athletics prowess and just rich history and tradition here that is certainly worth celebrating. But is also is something that I think important for the folks that are on the ground now, continuing to create an environment that can sustain that trajectory and that tradition. And, again, I think we can point to things and say, yeah, we're doing that.
It was so much fun. You talk about we have these kind of athletes all over campus. I'll tell you how all over campus they are. Fuse was out taking tickets at one of the gates. This is an Olympic sprinter. And he's just, hey, can I see your ticket, please?
That's right. Hey, he may be an Olympian, but, it's still East Texas, so we got to roll up our sleeves a little bit and get to work.
He's humble.
He'll put his hand in the dirt, you know what I mean?
He will.
And but he's the nicest kid ever. Biggest smile. So it's but that's kind of who we are, right? And I think that's what's kind of special about this place. We actually had a recruit from on campus, an international recruit on campus last week, and we were actually talking about that, where the environment you'll get here is one that you can really develop and become elite in your chosen discipline if you put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
But this is also a place that there's connectivity. There's personal relationships you develop. It's a intimate environment for any student or staff member or faculty member here in Commerce, and and at the same time too, we're about that work here, and so if you're into that, if you like being able to develop to the highest level, if you're willing to do the work and you enjoy building relationships that are meaningful and a place that is, supportive and safe and secure, like that, this is your place.
It's not a bad place to develop coaches either. I mean,
yeah.
How many, when you went to the last conference meeting, did you get to kind of walk in a little swag when, how many of you guys had one of your coaches at the World Relay?
Yeah, I mean, all that to say, like, you kind of mentioned just where, where we're positioning. I mean, we just came off of a week where now in the Thursday we get a win over SFA in soccer. In the last week we've defeated the defending champions in volleyball and soccer from last year. I mean, so, again, continuing to make the progress and the ascendant trajectory for where our athletics programs are going. Well, at the same time, obviously, we've talked about what's happening academically. And so it's just continuing to do the work, continuing to stay focused on that and committed to the process and then what comes from it. So, again, I couldn't be happier for Ashley and Joe and the performances they've had respectively there. Obviously, there's some wins that we still want to get there too. But I think both of them are heading the right way, and they're playing well. And so, but again, there's other positive signs there out there too across other sports. We'll get into basketball a little bit here. I think people will see it. We see what's happening in golf. We see things in football. I mean, just competing against a top 25 team. Let's be honest, in a position to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Should have won the game. Clint will be the first to tell you that, right? I mean, so
it was a game.
I mean, could we? I sometimes think back. 2 years ago, that first year I was here, Clint's first year. We really struggled. We struggled in conference. We struggled out of conference. I mean, we just struggled in. Now to be in a position where, again, you got a top 20 team. I mean, I think they're ranked 16th in one of the polls this week. Haven't lost an FCS game yet. And, you had them beat for 59 minutes.
We
right?
had them.
So, I mean, it's one of those where, okay, we just keep working it and keep growing.
How many games have you seen like that?
I've never seen.
I mean, it's football, and everybody's seen wild football games, but how many games are you seeing where you've literally been up all the way until the wire?
Okay. I got one for you.
Okay. I knew you would. You'd have to.
So, as crazy as Saturday was, it's college football.
Yeah.
And so this isn't like the pros where everything is kind of very prescribed and like everybody knows what's going to happen and it's just about the execution. In college football, wonky things happen. So I'll go back all the way. Gosh, this would have been like 2008 or 7.
Okay.
I was at Coastal Carolina, FCS football at the time. We are playing Colgate. The game gets moved from Saturday to Sunday because a hurricane had come through. So hurricane come through, gets out, nothing bad, obviously, but like we delay the game. We play Sunday. It's hotter than could possibly be. It's a first or second week of the year. We start the game. We're up most of the game. There's a massive rain delay because one of those bands whips off the coast from the hurricane going offshore and drops a bunch of lightning and rain. Well, they're already there, and we started early in the day because we're trying to get them out. So we waited out. We go to play the game. So return to play the game. Again, we're winning. We're winning the whole game. Late, they start driving, and they are in a position to kick a field goal with basically just a couple seconds left to tie the game. So, guy snaps the ball, botch snap.
Oh.
Guy picks it up. No, this is Colgate. We're up at Coastal Carolina. Colgate's going to tie the game. He picks up the ball. It's, fire drill, right? Everybody's scattering. He wheels around, bootlegs around, and there is a tight end that just kind of leaked out, wide open in the end zone, tosses it to him. Touchdown. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, this is college football, man. It happens every week. It's just when are you going to see it happen, and you go from there. So, again, you never want to be on the other side of it, but it happens in college football.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Let's see. In these kind of games, and I can only think of like 2, maybe 3 others. One of them in high school, led Jefferson and Atlanta, arch rivals. We're in the quarterfinals. Winners going to the state semis. We're 30 miles apart. We haven't met until this deep in the playoffs. We led the whole game until they threw a 34-yard touchdown pass with 24 seconds left.
Yeah.
And then we didn't win.
Yeah.
Oh, that was tough.
Yeah.
And at ETBU, they had some both ways, but it's kind of like I told my buddy in Jefferson, Ned, that we called 30 years of football together. I said, we just had our Mary Hardin Baylor game again.
Yeah.
Was ETBU winning up at Central Washington.
Okay.
So that was one. But in between, ETBU was down 28-7 at the half against Mary Hardin Baylor, and the Tigers had to win by 7 to give them a tiebreaker in a 3-way tie with Hardin Simmons that was involved in it. They'd already beaten us in overtime by 6. Didn't kick an extra point because who needed to?
Yeah.
It turns out they did. Mary Hardin Baylor beat them. So now if we beat Mary Hardin Baylor by a touchdown, no less, we'll have the points in a 3-way tiebreaker. 29-yard touchdown pass with 8 seconds left tied the game. We had a freshman quarterback that took over, and he just 400 and some odd yards. And then in overtime, they let us go first. We scored a touchdown. We've got our 7-point lead. Mm-hmm. Now they've got a problem on 3rd and something because they could kick a field goal, lose the game, but have the tiebreaker and go on to the playoffs. And they opted to go for the win, and we picked it off.
Oh.
And so our 7-point necessity was intact.
This was like the Raiders game a couple years ago. I can't remember who they were playing, but there was like a tiebreaker in the NFL, and like they tied the game into overtime. If they tied the game, someone would have won. Yeah.
I mean,
there we go.
and
it's college football, man. That's what's beautiful about it, though. At the same time, you don't want to be on the other side because it hurts. And again, there was a lot of hurt on Saturday. I can tell you that. But I mean, at the same time, too, you once the fog of war clears a little bit, you try to find where where things are, where there's some positives in there, and there was a lot of positives in there. And so, again, now it's just figuring ways to finish it out.
The NCAA has that 10-minute cool-off period. Was that long enough for us on Saturday?
That's the thing. Now you got to regroup, though, right?
Yeah.
And, Ron and I were actually Ron Peace and I were talking a little bit about that after the game. He kind of popped out, and we just started chatting a little bit. And, we talked about, now we got to – this is a hard one because you got to put it behind you, and then you got to start to focus because, again, we're going down to UIW. Last time we were down there, we played really well. We're in a position to win the ball game there. They're gettable, but we got to execute, and so we know the deal down there.
Yeah. We have played well down there. I think twice, maybe 3 times.
Yeah.
But we've been in every one of those and threatened.
Well, heck, last year they were a top 5 team in the country coming in here. We had the lead in the 4th quarter, and then they ended up pulling away late. But I mean, same type of thing. Like, played them tough. And again, we knew that Lamar game was probably a 50-50 ball game going into it, and turned out to be probably
49-51.
So,
It was a whale of a game.
I mean,
it was crazy. You, those are games you just don't ever forget.
Well, it's obviously gotten a lot of attention the way it finished.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't know if we really necessarily need to get into all that, but you know, we talk about the platform that Division I athletics provides the institution. It's on full display this week for all to see. Again, maybe not in totally the way we want to, but you know. A lot of people know about East Texas A&M right now.
I think they know a lot about Quick Trip, too.
Something like that. But, you know, but let's not – lost in all this probably, too, is, you know, number 3 highlight on SportsCenter Top 10, you know, and on Saturday night, which is hard to do in college football season. And so, again, a highlight takeaway from the weekend, not just on the field, too, but let's acknowledge some people kind of behind the scenes, too. Those are 2 undergraduate students doing camera work in live feed and then on replay, and
cool.
Being led by a graduate of ours who's producing in the truck. So I mean, you think about all the different entities that go into making a game day happen, and then making a highlight happen that can, you know, bring positive notoriety to the institution. I mean, the SportsCenter Top 10 highlight, everybody knows that, and you know, to be featured on it. Part of the reason we can be featured on it is because you've got a quality enough shot to be able to feel comfortable putting it on ESPN linear. And so, again, credit to the production team. You know, Avi and Aiden, they do a great job. Aiden Pelfrey. And, you know, it's one of those things that we've really become a leader in the conference. You know, we have led every year we've been in the league in terms of our available inventory of home games and the percentage that we do broadcast. And so, you know, if we had baseball, we would have probably the most broadcasts of anybody. But it's just in sheer end. But, like, a lot of schools aren't doing the same number of contests we are in all the other sports. So percentage-wise, we're the leader. And then when we look at viewership, it's right up there too. So we've really positioned ourselves in a great way that way.
All right. Well, we have such a full plate. I would naturally just say, well, tell me more about that, Jim. But I got to get him out of the way.
You got to get me out of here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, man, it was as crazy as Saturday night ended. It was a great weekend.
It was. You know, again, it was another 2-0 Thursday, back-to-back 2-0 Thursdays for soccer, volleyball. So those are always great. So again, you know, the wins have been coming here of late. We know we've got some more on the horizon, and so we'll just keep chopping away at it. And believe it or not, it's homecoming next week, so we want everybody out there. We have put out information about an expanded tailgate footprint because we're kind of sold out of the initial lot, but we planned for that and have an extension of that into lot 2. So pay attention to that or take a look at that if you've got it. But we look forward to seeing everybody next week.
All right, and make sure all the signs are up. Carthel-free zone.
Yes,
He's
exactly.
not allowed. He's just not. All right, folks, we're going to take a break right here, and we'll swap out Jim for a coach. See which one shows up next on Inside Lion Athletics. Thanks, everybody. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Some more of Inside Lion Athletics. I'm Charlie Chitwood, joined now by women's basketball coach Valerie King. Coach, y'all are getting closer and closer. I think it's just like 2 weeks away. Got that season opener, and it's actually at home. How do you like that?
Yeah, I mean, we're excited. I think everybody's excited, you know, from practice players to our kids to, you know, all the way to the top. So, you know, we're excited. We've been practicing hard. We've had some really good practices, you know, and preseason's tough. I think everybody knows that. Beat up on each other day in and day out.
Grind.
Yeah. But, you know, we're taking it one day at a time, one practice at a time. And, you know, I think incrementally getting better each day.
Well, and if you can't tell, Coach is in her mid-season voice already. So it's you just get that way. But
yeah.
That's all right. I'll get kind of froggy later on. So a scrimmage Saturday against another regional Division I program. Mm-hmm. We're not going to tell you who, but it was a really good test for your squad. A lot of new faces on there. And how'd they look first time out of the box?
You know, I think overall, like the message was, you know, we got some really good things out of it. You know, on a positive side, obviously it's, you know, I think we were 15 practices in when we went. So it was, you know, it was nice to see this early the stuff we really need to work on, like going back to the scrimmage, watching it, getting a list of everything we need to get cleaned up, get fixed, and really having this week to focus on that. That was, one of the reasons we wanted to scrimmage this early. That way we would have, multiple days to, fix what we need to fix. Again, like I said, we saw some good things. We saw some bad things, which is, you're going to see that on whatever it is, October 11th, 12th, whatever it is. So, but, I think returners were really good. I think it's, we have a couple kids that haven't played in a game in 2 years. So, probably knocking some rust off of, stuff like that. New kids, freshmen, I think they came in and, I think they produced and did what we kind of thought they could do. So overall, it was really good for us, obviously just playing another team and not beating up on each other for a day. So
if I ask it this way, I think you can answer it. Did we, the things that you liked, was it a team that is kind of physically a match with us?
Yeah, it was a team that plays super fast offensively, pressures you on defense. So that's why I was very excited to see that, how our defensive transition was going to relate or, to translate to a super fast offensive team. And then us being able to take care of the ball, and being able to score against an athletic, long, quick team.
Okay. How'd we do?
I think we did.
Did we score more points than them? How about we
It
start
was very
there?
close.
Okay.
It was, super, super close. I think our kids gained some confidence throughout the game and throughout, like, the runs that happened throughout the game. I think the end of the game was great for us. We played a 5-minute overtime. It really went to overtime, so that was really good.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of end-of-game situations that, both teams could practice. But, just I think good mental stuff for our kids this early.
What was it? Played like a regular game?
Yes, it was.
Okay,
yeah,
so
4 quarters, went straight to overtime. We played a 5-minute overtime.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't know if we could get through a full 40 minutes. We'd played in practice probably between 25 and 30 actual live minutes. So, we were okay at 40 minutes. Obviously, there's some, minutes in there that you want to get better, where we got to get better conditioned. But, overall, it was really, really good.
So with this squad, and everyone's different, they come in, are they picking up the offense or the defense a little bit quicker? Which one's easier for them to just really be confident in?
Yeah, I would probably say, to me, I think we're almost on the same page level, offense and defense.
Okay.
At this time. We had done so much defense throughout the summer to get up to the offensive level. That's why I kind of think we're almost there at the same level now. Now, obviously, we've changed some of our offensive tendencies and just our overall structure of how we're playing. But a lot of it goes into how we've played the past 2 years as well. So, I'm happy with where we are. We fixed a lot of offensive stuff this week after Saturday. This will be our third practice after the scrimmage, and then Friday, Saturday this weekend we'll get back to fixing defensive stuff. So, there's been a real focus on what we're fixing each day, and I think our kids have really bought into that, where we're not throwing a million things at them to fix. We're doing 2 things a day, getting better at those, and then the next day we're 2 more things. So,
okay.
This week has been really beneficial after Saturday.
You have 3 internationals on the team?
Yes.
Okay, and they were all busy with representing their national squads this summer.
They were.
How much do you ease off of them a little bit when they get here and give them a little break, or do they have to just jump right in?
I think we all just jumped right in.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I don't like to talk a lot about last year, but I think everybody's just got a higher sense of urgency about them.
Nobody wanted 7 wins last year.
Yeah, nobody in America would ever want that. So, But, like, I just think there's just a higher sense of urgency and, like, wanting to get back out there and doing things right. So we didn't waste any time. Nobody did. So.
Okay. Well, staff pretty much the same. Got that one addition. She swapped out a uniform for a whistle.
Yeah, Jordan Newsom is our new grad assistant. We're staff-wise, we're super excited. She's on our side. The kids are excited that she's still around and helping and everything. So she's been a great addition. She's obviously she was a really good player for us, but she's able to fit different rules for us and do different things. So, it's been a great add for us.
Coach, you getting that first GA off of one of your former teams here. That's like another brick in the construction of your program.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it's continuity.
Yeah, that's correct. And I think anytime being able to bring a former athlete onto your staff says a lot about the kid, but also says a lot about their experience that they've had and that they would want to. So I think that's a great thing on both sides. But I also think it helps bridge the gap with our student athletes now and staff.
And you've been in that role. You were
I
a GA. How was your experience with it? And how did it help shape how you do it now?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I think that's the year to me that you figure out if that's what you really want to do.
Okay.
Because, I mean, Jordan could do a million different things. And I did a lot of film when I was at Louisville, and that's why I think I really ended up loving coaching in general, just the technique and all the X's and O's and everything that goes into it, and just sitting down and learning and not just being a player, but really learning the game. So I think that year or the 2 years that you're a GA, I think it really molds you into what type of coach you're going to be, and if you really want to do it for the long haul. So, and I think every coach should be a GA to start.
Oh, yeah. So and gosh, here we go. So, I mean, she breaking down film. How long does it take? I mean, when you've got the mechanics of the clicker and however you're recording it, but
yeah,
breaking that film down, how long does it take to break down?
Well, I mean, I think once you know what you're looking for, and once you know like the system that you're working for, it's much easier.
Okay.
Now, when I started in whatever year, 06, 07, film was completely different than what it is now.
I know you had to wait for it to get back from the developer.
Well, yeah, you had to do all that. You had to upload it all yourself. You had to cut it all yourself. So now we have a software called Synergy that, I mean, we put practice in there. Now you still have to cut practice up, but like you'll go in after a game and your game's already basically broken down for you.
Wow.
So a lot of that stuff is taken off of GAs now, but just in general of just watching film, that's how, for me, it's different for everybody, but that's how I learned just basketball, is just watching hours and hours of film. So I think that everybody should do it.
I agree.
So,
I mean, it's like, baseball, I had to learn how to keep a box score first before anything else. It was great stuff. Gosh, Coach, we got off in another direction.
I know.
Before you leave, though, tell us what's coming up next. The opener is what, November 4th, I think?
November 3rd.
3rd.
Yeah.
And that'll be here, part of a doubleheader the men are going to
correct.
play as well.
Yeah, so we'll practice this week, obviously. We have one more scrimmage next week. And then, again, it was set up so we would have a full 10 days before we have our first game. So we have one more live against another team in here on the 24th. And then we'll be, in mode of prep and play.
Bring them on. Hey, and you get to see yourself on 4 different screens at one time now, Coach.
Yeah.
What do you think? That's
the screens are amazing. Like, they're great. We watch film out there before practice, which has been a great thing. So I love them. It makes it, it makes it feel homier.
You have more toys to work with at your disposal for the improvement of your team. That's what matters.
Yeah, that's
All right. Well, Hey, we got more coaches to go.
All right.
We're going to line up, folks, here. Thanks for sitting in on this. We've got a ways to go. Valerie King's got work to do. We're going to let her go get after it. We'll be back right after this. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Some more of Inside Lion Athletics. We go from women's basketball to women's soccer. Here's Ashley Gordon. The Lions are in a tie for third. You had a very, very important week last week and split a pair of games on the road. You get the dub at SFA. And then, Sunday was not as much fun as Thursday was.
No, it wasn't. I mean, when we played Stephen F. Austin, we played well. It was one of the best, performances from our back line. And we knew we were going to have a tough match. As I'd mentioned last week, they had, players that we had to be able to defend in the channels, and then they had to be able to defend us in the channels. And so, but I thought it was a good performance from our team. But our back line I thought was great. Goalkeeping, Jill in goal, had some key saves. Judith, our Kenyan that plays on the left side, she had one of their best players in her pocket, and she was awesome. Trinity Edgerton, who's our center back, who's been playing out of position since we've had injuries, stepped up and had a great game. And actually, she's the one that scored the goal in the 80th minute, basically, to put us on the board. And it was from a set piece where you talked about, that we have to be better and more accurate on set pieces. And we were able to see that against SFA. So I thought we played great. It was a great performance from our team, and then, came home and had to face Northwestern State. We played well, Charlie, against Northwestern State.
It was scoreless at the half, wasn't it?
Scoreless at the half. From a shot count, we're talking about 18-7. 18-17. It was back-to-back.
Wow.
It was goal box to goal box. We had more corners than they did. And I thought really in the second half, our players, especially players that have been clocking a lot of minutes, back-to-back games of 90 minutes, you could see fatigue set in. And, 3 goals that were preventable, yes, some of those goals might have led, from a poor decision-making.
Mm-hmm.
And I think preventable. But Hannibal, got us on the board. And had a shot that was later in the half. So, when you look at the game, and I think our overall performance and our opportunities and shots on goal, statistically everything was even. I don't necessarily think that the score of the game was really a reflection of the game.
Understood.
So anyway, but it is what it is. So now we're going on. We still have 3 games left, and we're happy to now where we have single matches coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I told you this or not, but us and another opponent in our conference really has had the hardest schedule, where we've had 3 weekends in a row of double fixtures. So 8 other teams have not had that, where they've been able to have a single game rest.
Were any of those on our schedule in the last 2 games?
Wait, what?
No.
No.
Okay.
So the other part. So anyway, my whole point is, much needed rest. So, but I think on Sunday, it caught up to us. We played 6 matches in 2.5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot. It's a lot. So, we're excited to just have a single game. We really have needed this week to, A, not travel, be at home. We took an extra day's rest, which I think was needed. Get back on the field today, get prepared for Southeastern. So
right, lion on lion battle. They're going to do it here in Hunt County, though, right?
Yeah. So anyway,
Avi says we're going to Hammond.
Yeah. No, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we're going to Southeastern. So it's our last trip of travel, and then after that we get back home, and we're home for the rest of the duration.
God, you're going to like that.
Yeah, we're excited to, like I said, get players back. Much needed rest, and so we're excited.
So how many do you get back in these next 3 weeks in time for the conference tournament?
Looking at three, which is
That's a pretty significant amount.
It is. It is.
That's a whole line.
Yeah, that is three field players. So we've got 2 healthy goalkeepers, and so we should be potential. I mean, no one's clinched a spot in the playoffs anyway. And like I said, I don't like talking about that. You jinx us. So we just got to put our head down and continue to play hard.
Well, let me ask you this though. It gives you a little bit of help to scout when you play somebody closer to the tournament than if you played them earlier in the season, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, the rosters change depending on injuries, status. Obviously, when you're at the beginning of the conference, coaches are still trying to. You still might be tampering with your lineup, but I think once teams kind of get in the groove of conference play, I think you know what you're going to get. Really.
Okay.
So I agree with that.
All right. Well, tell us a little about what the game Sunday against Southeastern is going to be like. I mean, what style do they play?
They're a possession team. I've got a lot of respect for their coach. I mean, they're going to come out and play hard, and it's always been a close game every time we've played them. And so, we had last year when we competed, we scored off of. Actually, I can remember very clearly. We scored off of corners in that match with Cadence Ramirez, who ended up being Player of the Year. And so, right now, obviously, she's been sidelined. We haven't had her all season. So, it's like anything. You got to be able to find other ways to be able to score. But I know we're going to be able to generate a lot of sub pieces. We've got to continue our accuracy in regards to shooting on goal. Maya Mitchell and Hannah Bell are in the top 10 in the Southland Conference in regards to shots on goal. So we've got to continue doing that. We're getting great production from Alana Lawless Falarka and Kristen Schultz. And so we've just got to come out and get ready to compete. But anyway, so we're excited.
Coach, going into the next few weeks and how important the rest is, how do you give your team that extra rest in season? I mean, obviously you don't have an extra game day that week, so that's a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, one where you're not traveling is great, right? And then, it's just extra time on the field and more what I would call is functional training, where we have the opportunity to have split training sessions where it's, attackers with one coach, our back line with another coach, obviously our goalkeeping coach, with the keepers. And we can really work on functional training by position. And so it gives us an extra day to be able to do that. And so, anyway, which is huge.
I'm so interested in how you're describing that. I never even thought about, other than, probably a goalkeeper, who's a positional coach. So if you've got a coach to work on the back line doing drills, is it how to change direction, how to block, how to...
I mean, when we work on backline training, it's communication, it's spacing, it's knowing when to step, when to drop, when to be compact, when, how to be able to deal with our opponents if they're in a breakout. You got to be patient. And then obviously we work on transitional moments where we're defending, and then there's a trigger that leads from defending to attacking, and then what is our shape and what is our transition. And we've always been a team that's been really good in transition. So, but I mean, when we have an extra day in regards to training, that's what we want to be able to do is really functional training, and I think the players get a lot out of that.
They get a little brain rest too, right?
Yes.
Well, you gotta think.
Yes. So no, but it'll be good. We're excited.
All right. Well, trip down to Hammond and then come on home, and the tournament again. Nobody's qualified for it yet, though. But the tournament will be at?
It's at Lamar.
At Lamar.
It will be at Lamar. And then in 26, I don't know if Jim's told you, but we won the bid to be able to host the tournament next year. That's far off from now, though.
That's all right. Yeah, we've got time.
We're playing 25.
We've got time. That's right.
25. That's right.
All right. Well, Coach, I am grateful you came in. Those were some big games. The win Thursday night, it may not have been well attended by the Lion faithful, but on the road there were a lot of people at home yelling and screaming.
That's right.
Good stuff.
So we're excited.
Lions up, everybody. We'll be back. We've got Jaret von Rosenberg ready to go after this. Hey, folks, welcome back. Some more Inside Lion Athletics. I think we're getting the whole department this week. I got Jaret von Rosenberg here. Lion basketball, you guys are getting ready just like the women are for openers on November 3rd. How's it going so far? Y'all practiced, what, 3 weeks of full bore?
Yeah, I guess. We've been practicing since June 4th. But, yeah, it goes to your 20 hours a week, so it's a little bit longer, a little more consistent. But it's that time of the year. The reason you're talking to everybody is, almost all sports are kind of in session now and
crossover
ready
season.
To go. Yeah. So a lot of activity around here, and we're, excited about the first year to be eligible and compete at this level.
You got a lot of new faces on your roster. How's everybody coming together so far?
Good. I mean, it's been a process. It's still ongoing. It's a challenge to play yourself because somebody's going to be successful and not successful on both sides of the ball. And so trying to figure out what you're working on and trying to put pairings together of guys that you think will play well together is a big part of it. And then, we'll really know, kind of give us a bar of where we stand when we play against Tarleton next Saturday. So that'll be our first test against another opponent that kind of attacks us a different way on both sides, and we'll see how we fare there.
All right, so you and I are both familiar from Lon Reisman style basketball. How different are the Texans under Billy Clyde Gillespie?
Not a lot different. Toughness, rebounding, defense. It's kind of a hallmark of good basketball teams in general. So, Coach has obviously done it for a long time at a really high level, and I'm sure those guys will be ready to go. We probably need to take their pressure and put it back on them a little bit as far as how we play offense, because they're going to try to speed us up, and that's with me not even going to a practice or knowing anything. But his style is very aggressive, gets his teams to buy in and play really hard. So it'll be a great test. Our most physical, aggressive matchup might be our first exhibition of the year. So it'll give us a real good picture of where we're at. And, whether we have success or don't, the goal of getting better every week, every day, every opportunity is always still going to be there.
You got one of Billy Clyde's own, Trey Conrad, on your staff. Before he came to Lion U, he was at Ranger.
Yep.
Playing for him out there.
Yeah, Coach Gillespie's been all over the place. He was at UTEP, what I can remember, UTEP, then A&M, then Kentucky, then Ranger College, down at Tarleton. So he's coached at a lot of different levels, won at every single level he's ever been at. So it'll be a really good test for us.
Outstanding stuff. Coach, talk a little bit about some of the different players on your team. Who are some of the newcomers that folks might take a shine to quickly?
Yeah, we got a bunch. I think without listing all 12 of them, I really like the mix of the new guys. We got forwards, guards. We got junior college players, Division I transfers, NAIA transfers. It's just a really good mix. What I like about this group, and I hope it pays dividends as we go on this season, is it's a lot of experience and a lot of age, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
We got guys that are 5th, 6th, 7th year college players. So just from the start of being able to handle the length of the season, and like I said before, been going since June 4th. So it's besides taking 3 or 4 weeks off all year, the guys are basically training and getting ready for this season. So I'm looking forward to the balance that we have. I think we're really good up front. We score the basketball inside of 8 feet at a high clip. We got guys on the perimeter that can shoot it. Just a really good mix.
We've had, pardon me, Coach, we've had a strong suit of guards for a long time, and this might be your best group of forwards, or at least by numbers.
Yeah, I think as a collection, we have 5 forwards. All 5 of them will play. They'll impact winning. We've got shot blockers, got guys that can play on the perimeter, inside and out. So, I really like how the coaching staff. Got to give them a lot of credit. The staff, they put together a complete roster. I really don't think there's an area where we can't compete. Whether that be point guard play, wings, small forward, center. We really got players each of those positions, and we got a long way to go. We're not there yet right now. We got to understand the urgency that it takes, possession in and possession out. And, that's some of the things we're working on right now. But, the faster we get guys to buy into one another more than anything, and trust in their teammates, that'll be a big part of how successful we are.
I could be mistaken, but Evan Phelps is probably the only guy that has been on the team for the last 3 seasons or 2 seasons?
Yeah, the only one that's been there 3 seasons. You got Tay Mosier coming back for his second year. You got Josh Taylor coming back for his second year.
Michael.
I'm missing somebody, Michael Sanchez. So we have 4 or 5 guys that were here last year, which helps the process of install and just, kind of how we operate. And then you bring in that experience and age on the backside. I'll just go through a couple guys. Noah Pagoda from West Texas, been a part of NCAA tournaments and all region player or all conference for sure. At WT, you got Damian Garcia. He's a leading scorer in NAIA in his 5th year. You got Big Mike, Michael Florian from St. Bonaventures, but he's been at 4 other schools. So Gianni Hunt comes to us. He was the 6th man on Oregon State's Elite 8 team, played about 20 minutes a game. So he's been at the highest level. Vinny Sagona, an all-region junior college player out of Collin County, where I played and coached. And I'm missing somebody. That's why I don't like always going through all of them. But
Sure.
Just a really good mix of guys from multiple levels that have all had success. A lot of guys that have scored a lot of baskets, and our job is to make sure that we understand that we got to take the right shot. And when you have so many guys that have been prolific scoring the ball, it makes it really hard to guard, right? So you can't leave somebody open, and we got to share the ball and be very high assist to turnover. And there's not a whole lot of reason to force a lot of stuff when you got multiple guys that can score like that.
You have, prior to this season, which is our first unfettered Division I year, you've had to really kind of fight to get guys and keep the team rolling. And then on top of that, you had to go play in some bye games that didn't help your record any.
Yeah,
but what they do.
It's been quite the journey. I'm very thankful to be on it, to be honest. You go to sleep one day as a Division II participant and head coach, and then you wake up and you're a Division I head coach. So, I'm appreciative for the opportunity. We didn't meet the standard last year at all. We can make all the excuses in the world. We didn't play good enough. We didn't have a good enough team. We didn't coach good enough. So it's been reinvigorating to kind of get another crack at it. And, we like our roster. We like the work that we've put in. And there's a lot more work to do before we even get to our first game.
All right. Well, before you get to that one on November 3rd, 2 scrimmages, and you've already touched on Tarleton, or do you have –
Tarleton and UTD.
And UT Dallas.
We'll bring UT Dallas over here the 29th, I believe. So we play, kind of back-to-back, give us almost a semblance of a season, playing 3 or 4 days in between each other. So one road contest, one home contest, so our guys can play in front of our fans before we tip on November 3rd. But two really good opponents. Coach does a great job at UT Dallas. They're in the transition phase to from Division III to Division II,
right?
Similar to us, but they got a lot of returners, so they'll give us a good look and definitely expose what's not ready to go. And the whole idea of exhibitions is get a chance to compete against somebody else, but kind of figure out what you're missing from practice and what you need to focus on, because come November 3rd, they obviously all count. and we're trying to win every time we step on the floor.
Over the court, Sam Walker used to always say, hey, it's a long season. You just want to get better game to game. You want to be better in December than you were in November, all the way through to April now for us. It's kind of hard where I was going with that. Like I lost it. But
well, it goes back to we're a one bid league, so that stands true. It was a little different when we were in the Lone Star. The 3 years we made the NCAA tournament, we were an at-large team. There's one bid now, so it's even more true now than it was in Division II. Is that you got to be playing your best basketball in March, and you got to win 2 or 3 games depending on where you seed out from the regular season. And then the ultimate goal is to go to the NCAA tournament. I mean, that's what it's all about. And then when you get there, try to win a game and go from there. But there's a lot of work that goes into that, obviously. And like I tell our guys, everyone else has the same goals.
Mm-hmm.
But what you do day in and day out separates and gives you a chance to do it. Early season college basketball is really crazy because at that point when no one's lost yet, everyone thinks they can win. Mm-hmm. Right? Everyone's got that belief that they can win. And, fighting complacency is a big part of, my job, but our job is to make sure that we understand that, one good day doesn't mean anything. We got to stack good days, and we've got to see growth. We can't just, it's going to happen, or we have good players, or, we got a lot that we want to accomplish as a unit. And so that process is just ongoing as we speak.
All right. Man, we could go on, but we can't because I got every coach in America on the show today. So we're going to have to cut it here. Next time, I want to talk a little bit about the schedule itself and the construction of that. Avi says we should go on if we want.
Okay, yeah,
So,
sure.
So tell me about this schedule. I saw we got UConn again.
Yeah, so I think this is the most balanced schedule that we've had by far, but it gets some home Division I opportunities. We obviously are playing some Power 4 schools in UConn, A&M, and New Mexico, our Group of 5, whatever you want to call it.
I'd put New Mexico in Power 4 in basketball.
And then we got Rice down at Rice. We got Central Arkansas here. We've got 2 bye games where we get to buy an opponent to come in the field house. Mm-hmm. A good mix of home and road games, going to Hawaii again, which becomes an extra game for your season. So we'll get 32 regular season games with that opportunity. So it's going to challenge us for sure. I just, we're playing, games that we have a chance to be more competitive in than we have in the past when you're playing, obviously with maybe UConn, New Mexico, those might be some exceptions, A&M. Going to be very tough to go there and be successful. But playing them later in the year a little bit,
mm-hmm.
We'll definitely kind of know who we are as a team. Last couple of years, we've played 3 powerhouses in the first 6 days of the season, which was really tough on our guys. But we had a plan of why we did those things early from a financial standpoint,
mm-hmm.
And that's now put us in position to have a little more flexibility and play a little bit more competitively, a little more competitive schedule. So, but it nothing does change from the standpoint of everything's about putting yourself in position to be successful in our 22 conference games. So, I think this schedule really gives us an opportunity to do that, and we're gonna go try to win every time we step on the floor, and that's the expectation. And some nights will be difficult, and some nights will be great, but we got to have a mindset of put it behind us, win, lose, or draw, learn from it, and get to the next opponent.
Okay. Folks, he'll have the opponents coming up here and stacking up quickly. Can't wait. Basketball's a lot of fun. We're going to line up here, and we'll have more when we return on this week's edition of Inside Lion Athletics. It's so long, we're going to go into next week probably. Hi, folks. Welcome back. Some more of Inside Lion Athletics. We've got head coach Clint Dolezel here with us. Coach, it's been a week. But the best thing is we live to fight another day, and UIW is our next opponent.
Yeah.
Little trip to the Alamo City.
That's what I told the guys is if there's a team is second, least favorite team in the conference, but behind SFA, obviously, it's Incarnate Word. So, they're struggled a little bit right now. They're 0-2 in the conference, and they're still a really good football team. They're probably not quite as good as they were last year, but they're still really dangerous. And we're going to San Antonio, where it's going to be a little bit warmer, and they play well at home.
We don't want to talk too much about the one that just happened, but I want to ask. Well, yeah, but just from being a football person, a football fan too, have you ever seen a game like that?
Yeah, but I've been on the other side of them sometimes. I've made some comebacks when everything looked kind of bad.
Right.
Early, nothing was really, working for you, and we just stay with the game plan and find a way. But, yeah, to play as well as we did, defense just played outstanding for 50 minutes, and then, they make a long drive on us at the end there and hold them to a field goal and then get the penalty and give them a chance to go for it. And they make do on it. And, one of those, it's hard to get any sleep after a game when you feel like you had opportunities to really, kind of win that football game and just, lose it at the end like that. But, we roll up our sleeves, watch the film, correct the mistakes, and, it's still in our hands. We're 1-1 in conference, but, there's a lot of good football ahead of us, a lot of good football teams ahead of us, and this is a tough conference to go undefeated in. And I'm
just going to ask.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of back and forth. There's 4 or 5 good football teams that can win this conference, and it's up for grabs right now.
We spent, the better part of a month thinking that, hey, Nichols is in the driver's seat because they got that win over Incarnate Word in the stew down there in Thibodaux back in August.
Yep, and now there's 2 that's undefeated, but I almost guarantee they won't end up that way. There will be nobody undefeated in this conference when it's all said and done.
All right, well, let's focus a little bit on UIW. What's making them a little bit less than what they were before?
They've gone back and forth quarterbacks. I mean, that's been the biggest factor. They've settled on one. They chunk it around the yard. I know that. Where years past where they were pretty balanced. They're a lot more pass heavy. Defense is sound. This kind of like us a little bit. They find a way to, give up some points when they probably shouldn't. And their special teams, they feel like we have the edge on the special teams as far as our kick game. Oslo's done an outstanding job for us, was great again this past weekend. And, when you have that in your back pocket and you feel like you can win that phase, now you just got to win one of the other ones, and, good things are going to happen.
Very well. Ground game, we saw some good running in the first half especially.
Yeah. It was one of those things going into it. Yes, we knew felt like we could run the football, and we ran it pretty well. But I also felt like we could spread it out and chuck it around the yard. There was a couple times when we did that and we went fast. Again, it's kind of our MO. If we can get a first down and we can get into kind of what I call burst plays and hurry up offense, we keep the defense on their heels, and we move the ball pretty well. You saw right before half there, we jumped in, empty and ran it right down and got a field goal and had opportunity to throw a touchdown or two with, we started that drive at our own 25 and 54 seconds, and next thing you know, we're inside the 15-yard line, shooting for the end zone. So, it's a fine line of what are we going to do, because I feel like we can do both well, but, Ron getting in a rhythm is very important. And to chunking it around the yard is getting him in a rhythm. Where the good and bad of, running it well keeps him out of a little bit of rhythm, which he likes to be in. And it's just a chess match with myself sometimes on how to keep him in that.
So is there, warm-ups, obviously, they're just for that. So you're not, trying to mimic any kind of game situation.
Sure.
But just, is there any repetitions that he can get prior to the game that kind of help limber him up?
No, it's like practice. Nothing can simulate a game. That's just the bottom line. And the adrenaline you have or the anxiety you have of, normally once you get the first snap, you do this your whole life, everybody's amped up and, until you get that first snap in. and then you settle into the game pretty fast. Sometimes it just takes, and I'm not talking about Ron in general, but you know, it takes people a little bit longer to settle in games, and especially in those key positions, you know, on the offensive side where there's a lot going on.
How'd we come out health-wise? Are we going to be going into the UIW game in good shape?
I think so.
Halfway through.
Yeah, we had a few bumps and bruises, but nothing too serious. You know, self-inflicted stuff was mainly our issue, not injuries. You know, again, we're starting to talk about that game again.
I know. I was in the second half. I know.
I can't help it.
That's all right.
I'm trying to get. Hopefully, after today, I'm gonna get over it.
There are therapists in Greenville.
Right.
You could call one if you
This
need
is
to.
therapy for me right here. This is therapy. You know, we know there's still a lot in front of us, and you know, yeah, it took us a little bit longer to get over this one. Kind of like not as bad as or worse than the Grambling game, you know, but we know it's available for us. We just got to play good football and go get that, you know, get that signature win, you know, against the team we haven't beaten yet. You know, Incarnate Words, who's always, you know, running for the conference. This would be a good signature win for us.
Whether it was Lone Star Conference or Southland,
Right.
they were in it briefly with us.
Yeah, so we're going to one game at a time. You know, for us, it's playoffs. You know, can we get in the playoff? Can we win the conference with 2 losses? Yeah, but I don't want to risk it. I think we win with 1 loss. I really do. Think we can get in there with 1 loss.
All right. Well, the next opportunity is going to be Saturday at 4:30. We'll be down in San Antonio taking on UIW at their house. They have the most how do you call it, athletics infrastructure in a smaller piece of territory
It's all right
than
on top.
probably anybody
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah. They're just surrounded by asphalt.
Yeah, and a
Nothing but
zoo.
highways around
And a
them, yeah.
zoo. Don't forget the zoo.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Coach, let's line up.
Yeah.
We're going to get them down there and see what kind of dubs are available at the corner of Broadway and Hildebrand. If you can't make it down there, Brock Calloway and I will, and we'll tell you all about it. Tune in then. Folks, we're going to take a break. We got a little bit more to go on Inside Lion Athletics. Don't go away. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Some more Inside Lion Athletics for you. We've got the whole staff here today, and that's not enough. So we brought in the Southland Conference Defensive Player of the Week, Jade Washington. Jade, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, because this is so much fun because we know each other. Our families know each other, and we go way back.
Yes.
Hey, congratulations. Good
Thank
job
you.
on the award and the work on the court. Tell us a little bit about your week.
My week? It's been pretty chill. We play Nichols today, which we're super excited for, our pink out game. Yeah. Not traveling as much. We had 3 away games back to back, so a lot of traveling. So it's nice to be home.
Yes, I'll bet. So I saw on the socials that y'all went to some of my favorite places in New Orleans. You went down to Cafe Du Monde,
Yes.
grabbed a little coffee and a whole lot of pure cane sugar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were there beignets under it anywhere?
Oh my gosh, that was the first time I had beignets, and they were delicious.
Aren't they so good?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that's supposed to be like just a little snack. Stop in. They hardly will bring you a second cup of coffee, but you sit there and eat that mountain of.
Mm-hmm. They're
it's all good.
delicious.
And pure cane sugar is good for you. So, got wins there at UNO. Go across. How'd you like driving across Lake Pontchartrain?
Oh, I was mainly asleep. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, once you've seen water on all sides of you, I guess you panic or just go back to sleep.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
How'd things go at Southeastern? Not quite the same way. It was a 3-game sweep at New Orleans, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. It was, yes, sir. Yeah,
Okay.
we played really well. Took care of business, so that's good.
All right. You're just a freshman.
Yes, sir.
So, and here you are on the show with us. Talk a little bit about how this season has gone from the players' perspective. Once you got, had that rugged non-conference schedule, and then you get into the Southland, which, it's not easy either, but, y'all are playing for something against these teams.
We are definitely. Our preseason schedule was definitely really tough, but I mean, I enjoyed playing all the tough teams, and I feel like it really helped us kind of bond together more, and then especially obviously play at that high level early on really did us some good. And so I feel like now going into conference, knowing that we played those big teams and even hung with most of them, that we should be able to still play well and stay calm under pressure moments and things like that.
I know a lot of coaches like to harp, we want to get better game by game, of course, but we want to get better month by month because it's a long season. How do y'all keep in such good shape on that? What do you have to do to stay game ready all through those months of volleyball?
I definitely just think the practice, always just helping one another prepare within positions and when we're scrimmaging. So that definitely helps a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now here's something else. Now you come in a true freshman. You were in high school a year ago, right?
Yes,
down at Waco Midway, playing high school volleyball, playing club volleyball, and now you're here, and it just turns out that you're leading the entire nation in digs.
Yeah.
Is that? Were you planning on that?
No, not at all.
How's that working?
I don't know. I think partly I just go out there and play, and I don't worry about stats. I don't worry about who I'm playing against. I just worry about what I can do and to the best of my ability, and that's just kind of what happened, I guess.
What do you think is your biggest strength? Is it your quickness out there that
I think so.
You get around. I've seen you play. You move around the court a lot when you need to.
Yeah, definitely just my quickness and speed, and just my natural ability to be fast, which I get from my mom. So
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. Her mom, a national. She's got an Addy, 4x400 meter relay team back in '93, which was about the time that I met your grandfather on the side of the road. He was a DPS trooper, and he saw some things wrong with my vehicle. Golly, everybody in Jefferson was scared to get pulled over by him.
I bet.
Did he ever get? Well, he didn't give you any tickets.
Oh no, I was too young to drive.
Yeah. Did he ever give one to your mom?
I don't think so.
I'll bet a ticket from your dad would be pretty rough. But if he didn't give you one, going home without it might be rougher.
Yes, sir.
So what's your mom doing? What did she do to help make you a better athlete?
I just think her endless love and support just really helped shape me into the athlete that I am today. Just always being by my side, guiding me through all the tough times that I had. Because obviously there were times I just felt oh, I can't do anything right, or I'm letting my team down, and she's just always in my corner, just supporting me at every game, doing the most for me. And so just her.
All right. So you're the volleyball star. She was the track star. When did you ever first beat her in a foot race? Can you remember that?
Ooh,
was that a big thing for you to beat your mom?
No, we never actually raced. I think there was one time. It was it was Easter. It was an Easter egg hunt, and it was by the road. And I was scared of the Easter bunny. And I was maybe I don't even know, maybe in kindergarten or first grade, really, really young.
Okay.
And I was just running away from the Easter bunny because I was so scared, in this big costume. And I was running towards the street, and then I just hear my mom right behind me, and I was picking me up before I got to the road. But that's the only time I can remember us racing.
Okay.
And, which obviously she won.
All right. Couldn't quite get all the way away, but yeah, mom still got her chops. All right. So what's the week like ahead for y'all? Y'all are battling there, trying to get into the tournament this year, and you're taking some down, you're taking a few hits, but the season's not over yet.
Yeah,
it's a long one.
I know. Yeah, we play Nichols today and then McNeese on Saturday, so hopefully we can take care of business again and just play like we know how to.
All right. Well, you got the national award. What did you get? What was your major prize? A certificate?
I don't even know. My prize?
Well, I mean, for being the player of the week. I mean,
Oh.
do they at least send you a certificate or anything? Avi says no, they don't do that. It's just a press release.
A picture?
A picture. That'll do it.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be fun. Take it with your teammates too.
Yes, sir.
All right. So good luck against Nichols today. That match, if you're here early, starts at 5?
6:30.
6:30.
Yes.
So plenty of time to grab a bite and get down to the field house to watch this one.
And it'll be pink out, so be sure to wear pink.
That's right. Support them.
Yes.
All right. Let's take a break. We're going to have Coach up next, but this is Jade Washington. Sorry. I had it right the first time. She just won a national award. We want more.
Yes.
See you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll be back, everybody. Don't go away. Joe's up next. Hey, everybody. We're back. The last chapter of this week's Inside Lion Athletics. I feel like we've had everybody, but it was like, wait a minute. We haven't had Joe Morales on board, Lion volleyball skipper. Hey, Jade Washington did a great job just a few minutes ago.
She did. I thought so, too. She had no idea what she was getting into, and I didn't tell her, and she came in, and she's like, oh, my gosh.
Well, we had
That's
a good
gonna be awesome.
visit.
Yeah.
Just the two of us talking about family.
Family.
All
That's
her
awesome.
roots to
Yeah.
Jefferson. And
she finally figured out how I knew. I said it in the car one time. I said, did your grandfather? And I kind of did everything. And she's like, how do you know? And I kind of left it open-ended. So I never told her. Now she made the connection.
She's got it.
Yeah.
She has it. I might have his autograph on that ticket
awesome.
somewhere still. But
Well, you know her mom's going to watch this as soon as it goes out.
Oh, I know.
Like, she's going to be like, oh, my God, that's so awesome.
She knows. She knows. We visited in the stands.
Yeah.
During that game, so I had actually not met her mother before.
Okay.
I just knew of her because when I first got to know her mom and dad,
Right.
she was down at Baylor running track still.
Yeah.
So
Top
we just-
athlete. Elite athlete.
very elite.
Elite athlete.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, that,
Looks like an elite mom too, because
Oh, gosh.
she's passed on a lot of really good genes.
I
to Jade.
think she needs to do a seminar about parenting to the youth a little bit. Take a page from her a little bit. Especially in club and all this stuff. Like
Sure.
Like she gets it. She sees, and of course she's experienced
Somebody
it as a
that's
D1.
been
Yeah,
all the way through it already.
right. You understand the parameters that are coming within. And so. No, it's superb. They're a great family. Absolutely.
All right. Well, on from individual stuff, and congratulations again, Jade, not only leading the nation in
Digs per set.
digs
Yeah.
per set,
Yeah.
but also was named the Southland Conference Defensive Player of the Week.
Yeah.
Nice,
Absolutely.
nice to stack those up over on the shelf.
Oh, absolutely. And she has more coming to her. I mean, her numbers are just outstanding. So I can't see her not being in the conversation, for the conference. So
Good deal.
Yeah.
We're not even halfway done, though, are we?
no, not at all. She has a lot more work to do.
So you had New Orleans in
Yeah,
New Orleans.
in New Orleans.
And then turned around and went across Lake Pontchartrain to Hammond and took on Southeastern. Talk a little bit about those two
Yeah,
sets. One
so-
was a really good one.
Yeah.
One went the other way.
So first one in NOLA, we had a great time there, and we had some fans there, which was awesome, and we took care of business. They put up some numbers, like in the first set, I think it was 25-23, and we went through the 6-2 the entire time. I was determined to do that because we need to get that acclimated a little bit. So the first one was like really close on, and we got the win, and then the second and the third was really good. We kind of took the momentum and then kept it a little bit. Our players were doing a great job. Haley was, running the offense. I think Staff played the first set, and then KK came in the second and third to counter with Haley in the 6-2, and we did a really good job. From a serving and a passing standpoint, I thought we did a really good job, and that was our key. Get them out of system. I thought we ball controlled a little bit better than New Orleans, which was the key to them, and that turned out great for us. So lo and behold, we got that win. The next day, we're getting ready to go to Hammond, America. But before then, we stopped at Cafe Du Monde, like Jade mentioned, and because of that win, we got some beignets, and they got to explore the French Quarter a little bit. So that was really good. And then we went to Hammond, America, and had Southeastern on Saturday. And I still thought we played really well.
Mm-hmm.
They even in the first two sets, I thought we were in it. up until a certain point. I had switched some things around a little bit. We had our 6'3" right side playing the outside. So their Southeastern's a little different than the conference. So a little volleyball knowledge here. Anytime you get an out-of-system ball or something that's not going to the setter, or we call that out-of-system a little bit,
Okay.
the majority of the balls are going to go to the outside. So outsides are like Gracie Campbell right now, So they're going to take good balls, they're going to take bad balls, and they're still going to kind of – Southeastern's a little opposite. They go to the right side because they have two lefties, right? Really good lefties, I think.
I think you mentioned something about those lefties last week.
Yeah, so what we did well, we switched it up. We had our 6'3" block, and we did what we needed to do. I think, normally those two lefties are getting a lot of numbers, and in that game only one of them got some numbers. But I had our MJ, our 6'3", right side, in 3 rotations against one of them. So we kind of shut her down a little bit. She didn't have the best game.
Right.
So we kept her from numbers. So that worked out really well. We couldn't handle I think our passing game and our setting game wasn't on point the way it needs to be. They played well. But like I'm telling my setters, like, you can play well, but against good teams, you got to play great.
Right.
You got to play a little bit more that's going to give you the edge. Like, you played well enough to stay with them, but we got to do something a little different. It's different when you're playing the top of the conference, And so I think they realize that and they know that. And I think moving forward, we still have the great morale. We still, like, these kids, you talk to Jade, and you can see, like, they're unfinished business still. We still got to take care of it. So we took a set off of them, and then we had an opportunity to go to a fifth a little bit, and we kind of went downhill a little bit, but we're still like, it's early. I mean, we're tied for what, 8th it is right now, with Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
So that tells you a lot about where we're at with the conference.
Last year's champs.
Yeah. So, and they're still a good team, and so, like, we're tied with them, and I think we can still make a splash in here.
Very good.
Yeah. So.
All right. Coming up, it is going. Who do you have coming up next?
Well, yeah, we got tonight. Nichols,
that's
State,
right. Tonight.
Right here, pink out game. I had to worry because the girls were going to give me if I didn't.
You have to wear it.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, it's a pink out game. We want everybody to go out. Roll out the pinks. Our kids will be in the pink jerseys. You saw that on Instagram on the reveal of our jerseys. So they were really excited about that. Every girl loves to wear pink. So we're gonna rock it tonight. But we're gonna rock it on the court as well too. So we're 6:30 tonight against Nichols, and then we are on the road to Lake Chuck, Lake Charles. Yeah, my own stopping ground.
All right.
And we got McNeese on Saturday at 11 o'clock. So yeah, we're looking for two wins, one at home and one on the road, and then we'll reshuffle the conference standings and see where we're at next week.
That sounds like a plan.
Absolutely.
Does it start over next week?
Well, I mean,
you haven't played everybody in the league yet.
I think next week is our last week, if I'm not mistaken, and I think we have home. We have home next week. We'll have home against SFA on Thursday, and then Saturday, I believe it's a homecoming, if I'm not mistaken, and we have homecoming against Lamar. So,
hey, tell me this. Tell everybody this. Who's our rival? Who's our volleyball? Are we building up a good old-fashioned we don't like you rivalry in volleyball?
I think UIW.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like stapled, but I think we got a lot of kids from San Antonio in that area. And so I think, me and Gabby have a really good relationship. We were both assistants and in the Southland, and then we got the jobs at the same time and going the same track. And I've known her since she was at La Tech, so we've got a lot of history in good. But I think it's playing out to be UIW. Like, we're always going to 5 sets with them. We're always, like, tackling it. I still think they got out of here with a win. Like, they stole it, and I think they know it. But I think that's where it's at right now, just because a lot of our families are from San Antonio, so they know each other. And, in those pieces of the puzzle. So I'm thinking that is it right now. And I think, at least in the volleyball terms, that's where it's looking at. You could always see those games. We go to UIW. We get a good of a home crowd as we do at home.
That helps.
Yeah, that definitely
That
helps. So,
really
yeah,
helps.
absolutely. So
'Cause
I'm thinking there. Yeah, I'm thinking there.
The one match that I've been to, a home crowd was like 500.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good, and so I'm thinking that's in the last couple of years that's where it's leading towards. It's our rival with UIW, and I love it. I mean, that's my hometown, right, San Antonio. So it's great. I like that, and we're just going to keep on battling. And Gabby's doing really well. They're top of the conference right now, but then now they got to play the other half. So we could seesaw this the other way really easy.
All right.
So, yeah.
Well, that's what's coming up next.
Yeah, absolutely.
Joe Morales, always a pleasure to have you on here.
Absolutely. See you at the Pink Out tonight.
Let's line up, folks. We'll see you there. Have a great week and go Lions.
Go Lions.
See you next week.